Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports Center. Live it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports Center. Live it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports Center. Live it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports Center. Live it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports Center. Live it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports Center. Live it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports Center. Live it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports Center. Live it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button.
Welcome to Talk Sports today at Premier Sports Fan Center. Viewers, it is going to be a lovely time and it is so exciting to be in your presence. I tell you, today is a beautiful day to be with you. It's a wonderful time to spend together talking football and talking sport. I want to come along this evening as we look at incisive discussions, analytical issues, and then dissect technically what is going on in a particular team or the other in certain aspects of football. Tonight we'll be talking about a host of subtopics on a particular club that we are all familiar with. And I tell you, it's going to be a wonderful time. To begin this evening, viewers, I want you to meet the analysts I have on the table tonight. From my left, you can see Yemite here. He's here in the evening. Yemite, you're welcome to today's Talk Sport.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been another 7 days of in the world of football and sports in general. So, interesting things have happened over this past 7 days, and you can always get right to it.
Right, thank you for that intro. It's been seven wonderful days of football, and so much has happened. And today we'll be looking at some of them. And on the far left, you can see Paul. Paul, you're welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Viewers, you're welcome to Talk Sport. You know how we do it here every 7 days of the week. So let's enjoy the show.
All right, so viewers and friends and fans and football lovers all over the world, we welcome you again to Talk Sport at Premier Sports Fan Center, where we talk football. Today we're looking at the following items, and I want you to come along as I just reel this out to you. Today we'll be talking basically about Manchester City, the giant in EPL, the challenges they have and some of those issues. The first thing, we're looking at the missing piece in Manchester City. The next, we're looking, the outline goes source, the rise and fall of dominance. So we're going to be dissecting that tonight, and then we're taking a look at City's midfield dominance in previous seasons. We're also highlighting their key players and the tactics they've engaged. We're also looking at analyzing their recent struggles. We're looking at examining the decline in performance and identifying areas of improvement for Manchester City. We're looking at the impact of key player departures. You know, we're exploring the void left by players like Rodri, Bernardinho, and how the team has adjusted after their various misadventures. We're also looking at the missing pieces in the Manchester City squad. We're identifying the weaknesses in the current midfield. We'll be highlighting shortcomings in terms of control. We'll be talking about their creativity, their defense, and their solidity. We're also examining potential solutions for Manchester City. We'll be looking at, okay, so what are the way forward? What is the way forward for them? What are the solutions that we can provide to their present problem? We're also assessing realistic options, evaluating the feasibility of acquiring certain targets for Manchester City through transfer market dynamics. We are also looking at the future of Manchester City's midfield. Let's look at exploring potential tactical adjustments they could make in the absence of certain key players. We're also looking at predicting the impact of potential signings for them maybe come January window. And then we're looking at the long-term vision, outlining how City can build a sustainable and dominant midfield for years to come. And before we conclude, we are going to be looking at emphasizing the need for solutions. Okay, so we're taking Manchester City as a case study for tonight's Talk Sport. Viewers, you're welcome to today's show. And so I'm going to start from Paul this evening. We're looking at, first of all, the rise and fall of dominance of Manchester City. So, Paul, let's take a back look at City's midfield dominance in previous seasons. You can highlight for us certain players and tactics they have engaged that gave them that dominance in the midfield, both in Europe and at home, because they won Europe and they won at home. So what are the tactics they have engaged and certain players that have made that possible for Manchester City to have such dominance in the past few years?
Yeah, you know, when you talk about Manchester City's dominance in the past few years, it has been their midfield. They have a very solid midfield, especially in the likes of what's his name now, Rodrigo, yeah, and Ike Gondowan, then Bernardo Silva, then they not forgetting Kevin De Bruyne. So they have those four players. You know, most times they use David Silva on the wing. Sometimes he plays through the middle also. But you know, for Manchester City, the real, when you're talking about those players that actually had the midfield then, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, and Ilkay Gundogan, they've been very, very, very good to the extent that when teams they play against teams, they deprive the opponent of the ball. You see Rodri breaking up plays. In fact, that's why he was voted as the best defensive midfielder in the world. And we also saw it how he recently won the Ballon d'Or also to show his dominance. And we saw his performance for Spain also at the Euros. So Man City have enjoyed how will I put it now? The rich form of those midfielders. So for City now, it due to injury, the absence of Rodri now, and with the injury to Kevin De Bruyne, because he has not been consistent so far this season.
Yes.
So the midfield has totally collapsed. We can also remember that last season they actually sold Ilkay Gundogan to Barcelona, and this season they brought him back, hoping it will solve the midfield crisis, but so far it has not. So but if you look back maybe 3, 4, 5 seasons ago, those 4 players I mentioned, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan, and Rodri, they've been very consistent, and they really showed that dominance in the midfield. So that's why City were enjoying. We could all see it, how they control the midfield. De Bruyne is there to get to move the ball around. Then there is what's his name now? Rodri also there to break up play in case of they lose possession, which they hardly lose. But for City, now it has been from one sort of problem to the other, and those players I mentioned, they hardly play together now, because it's either one is injured or one is in fact they are almost all injured now. So for Man City, I think the end of that midfield dominance is coming to an end.
Well, okay, thank you for that, taking us back. But Yemi, do you think Fernandinho or Fernando were as useful as Rodri when they held that position for Manchester City's midfield recently?
Yeah, I think Rodri is an upgrade of Fernandinho, the Brazilian. And when you look at the way they play, they look closely alike. They have the stature, they have the vision for passes, but there's a shield that Rodri brings to play. He shields the midfield, and the way he joins the attack, whenever the attackers are struggling to get goals, he knows how to get into position and still not affecting his defensive duties. So I think what has really affected Man City has to be Rodri's absence, because they've not had a player to cover up that space. And what now made it worse is when Kovacic went out injured. So it opened up the space, and that's why Man City are struggling. And one thing that has happened is due to the fact that they lost those matches, it has affected their confidence. So I think they played okay against Manchester United. They just lost concentration.
Okay, so before you go to that part, let me just push you right in there, because you've already opened that can. We're looking at analyzing their recent struggles, examining their declining performance, and identifying areas of improvement of City. So maybe you can take that together with midfield. You can touch all the angles of the play, front, back, and defense line, and the rest of them. So let's analyze their challenges.
Yeah, I just think that the issue with Man City is the midfield cover. The pivot role is lacking. The guys done in those areas are not doing the best job. They need somebody that can stay. Somebody like Moises Caicedo, what he does for Chelsea. Somebody that does the dirty job. When you go and look at a huge number of goals Chelsea scored this season, you will see that Caicedo will win back possession. As he wins it back, he sets it to the attacking midfielder, and so I think that cover, that shield. And the thing is, if you don't have a very good pivot player, what it does is he exposes your defenders. So when it exposes your defenders, they can easily break down your lines and get into goal scoring positions. But one thing I think Man City can do is just get a solid 1 or 2 pivot player that can just cover. I think Zubimendi is not bad. that will just stay and shield that defense. Then see, the thing is this, like Sir Alex Ferguson said, he said attack win you games, defense win you competitions. So the thing is, when you defend well, there are a lot of games, even Champions League final, Man City won with 1-0. Why? Because they didn't concede. So the thing is about, if you don't concede, you don't lose. You can draw or you can win. But once you don't concede, you don't lose. So I think that shield is missing. I think that's just the main missing piece. The others can come to the party at any time.
So before you leave that part, how do you assess the impact of players that left City recently? Let's look at the likes of, we know that many years ago, Fernandinho left. We know that last year, Ryan Mahrez left. We also know that they lost another player. Is
Alvarez.
Julian Alvarez also left them. And let's not forget, Rodri is out now. And he's left for the whole season. Now, Paul, what do you think about the direct impact of these players? Is it only in the midfield they have issues? Or these players that left them also created holes that they haven't been able to fill? Let's not forget defenders who have also been taken out for several months in the City squad.
Yeah, I think it's not just the midfield only. I think they have problems in all departments now. And to City fans out there now, there's also recently news that just came out now that the captain, is it the captain now? Ruben Diaz will be out for about 3 to 4 weeks now. So that's another bad news for Manchester City fans now. And coupled with the fact that they had other players out also. But for Manchester City, the problem alone is not in the midfield. It's it cut across all the departments. Take an example, we could say in the last maybe 4 or 5 matches now, you see Pep Guardiola trying to change those keepers. Because that's to tell you that it's the whole team. The only player that that has been playing consistently, constantly, not consistent, is what's his name now? The striker, Erling Haaland, because there's no any other person to substitute him for. But every other department, Pep Guardiola try to bring in another person to see if things will work. But so far it has not been working. And you talk about players that left them. I believe they'll be regretting now why they actually allowed the Argentine now, Alvarez, to leave them, because they are struggling for goals now. We see Alan now, he's gone about almost 7 matches now, scoring
one goal in 4 matches.
One goal in 4 matches. The Alan we knew, since he came to the Premier League.
But when you look at it, Man City has been scoring.
They've been scoring, but
the only issue is they are conceding more than they are scoring.
I don't think it's just about conceding alone. Even before Man City, they do concede, but then they outscore you.
The thing
but they
is,
don't win.
When you look at this aspect, it has to be the Man City when Guardiola started. When Rodri came into Man City, when you look at the way they play, if Man City you will now get 1 or 2 goals, maybe they are 3-0, 4-0. So they slow down the tempo a little bit. But when you look at the issue now, they got 1 goal against Man U.
Yeah.
A lot of games they win 1-0, including the Champions League final.
Of course.
They win 1-0. The essence of it is that look at how G3 they had defensively. Look at what Nunes did. Look at how they opened up for Diallo to run in between the lines. Now, who was on the ball passer? They left Martinez a whole lot of time to actually pick that pass. Who is starting the market? So the issue there is who is protecting the defense. So the defense plays high line under when Rodri is available. Right. But Rodri knows how to do the dirty job. He knows how to do it. It's just one player that is like a million for Man City. It's one player that they can't just afford to.
So now you guys are looking at it, okay, because from what Paul was saying, yes, so many departments are suffering in the City squad. The midfield might be the most hit, but we also know that the defense is not looking strong as it used to be, especially in fact, the moment Otamendi and I think Diaz started having
not Otamendi.
The player at times Akonji or sometimes Ake also.
Ake is out now.
Went off. But those guys are
and when you look at
they are in the team.
When you look at players who left,
check
2-3 seasons
check
ago.
check last
Both.
season. Check 2 seasons ago. You will see that those defenders that are having injury now,
Yes.
they
the
were
ones there.
going in and out of the season, like injured, come back, injured, come back, injured, come back, and it was not affecting Man City result. Why? Because there is a shield. You know, for example, Real Madrid sold Makelele because he was asking for how much. It took them 3 to 4 years before they got a replacement. They suffered for almost 3 seasons. That role is under celebrated. That's one of the reasons why I'll be happy. I was content to some extent when they gave Rodri the Ballon d'Or, because that role is one of the most stressful roles on the field.
Now, talking about that role, remember Sergio Busquets back in 2012? Sergio Busquets will go and play the World Cup, win the World Cup, play all the matches without a yellow card. And it wasn't celebrated.
It wasn't. Now, when he left,
wasn't even listed for
now
Ballon d'Or.
when he left Barcelona, what happened?
The team broke apart.
It will be like the other wingers are not playing.
And for
That's
3
how
seasons,
important
Barca
that
still
role is.
looking for
It's a
a
very
pivot.
delicate role. Okay, will we say when Makelele left that Real Madrid still had Raul and all those guys? Were they not good enough? They were good enough, but that shield is not there.
Right.
If you don't have that shield, you will. So that was why Chelsea coughed out over 100 million for Caicedo.
No, so your defense now is
It's
bring
just
back
the
Rodri
pivot.
and everything will be fine.
Bring Zubimendi.
Or
Bring
somebody
Caicedo.
who can play like Rodri.
Bring Lavia. Bring a good pivot player and watch Man City start winning from the next 2 games. I can put my money on it.
Now, let's.
But I don't think it's just there. I agree that they have issue with the midfield. I mean the defensive midfield. They need to bring in somebody. Since Rodri is out for almost the entire season. Yeah. But also looking at the defensive department here, you see that in fact
It's been shaky.
it's been shaky. You see the
Really
players
That's
like.
why they are shaking. That's what I'm telling you.
I don't think it's
No,
with the
because we
absence
have
of Rodri,
some-
at least there are some people that need to step up also. You see that players like Stone is always injured now.
Okay. See,
There
has
was a
always been
time,
injured
even last
most
season,
times.
even
They
last
come in,
season we saw
goes
him
out,
playing as a
comes in,
defensive
goes out.
midfielder.
As a pivot.
Yeah, we saw Stone playing it.
But Rodri was there.
There was a no. Rodri, we could also remember last season, Man City actually lost some game also without Rodri. During then,
About
yeah,
Okay,
They didn't win. Maybe
yeah,
they
did
didn't
you
lose, but
notice-
they didn't
and
win.
Did you
there
notice
was
that they
there were
counted
ones they also won without him also.
They counted almost 1,000 games or there. No, not 1,000. I think almost 100 games or something. When Rodri was on the field, Man City was unbeaten and Spain.
Yeah, I think yes. I
There's
see.
Yeah,
a reason
yeah,
they
yeah,
were
they-
counting.
they-
Now,
yeah.
see, that rule, if you don't understand the tactical aspect of football, you will almost look at them and slap them. But you see that rule. First, the most important role on the field of play is first the goalkeeper. Because if you are playing, you concede anyhow if there's no goalkeeper. The second most important is that pivot. Why? Now, the thing is, when the opponent is trying to break down the lines,
Right.
he is the first defender. So if that first defender is doing his job, then you have your number 5 waiting for the final balls. But if that number 4 is not doing his job, the final defender will be joining the marking ahead of time, which will open up the defense to different attacks. So I think that in this case, Man City, for me, if I was Guardiola, next January, I don't mind spending 150 million, bring in a pivot player, and let's have this conversation.
Yeah,
in
but-
January.
But I just want to
Okay,
know
let's
that.
hear Paul. Let's
So,
hear Paul.
when you say Rodri, that means we want to take the responsibility of of away from every other players. Like I was saying earlier on, those defenders also they need to do better. They are not helping. Like I mentioned players like Konji, Ake, even Ruben Diaz. Then what's his name now? The captain, the
Bruyne.
Englishman. No, the Englishman.
Walker.
Walker also. So
Walker,
they need to
okay.
step up, and maybe it's high time Manchester City needs to bring other defenders and allow those ones. Maybe they are aging, or they've been there now for maybe up to 6-7 years. Almost all those defenders, apart from the one they recently acquired from the Croatian man now. What's his name?
Viado.
Yeah. So they need to also look at bringing in new defenders, and also, like he said, bringing in another central defender. There are a lot of players out there you can go for, but I know they won't come cheap. He talks about what's his name again now, Zubimendi. They can also go for that Newcastle man, Bruno Guimaraes. He's a very fantastic player, and he has been playing in the league also. But I say, I will also insist that other players also step up. You're talking about scoring goals also. Looking at the guy they recently brought, he has gone over 22 matches without a goal now. What's his name again? Savinho. Since he came to Man City, he hasn't scored a goal. I think maybe with 2 assists.
Which is way below par.
Yeah.
And you can't win if
you are not scoring.
Strikers are not assisting.
What about the Englishman also, Jack Grealish, that cost 100 million? He's gone about 44 matches without a goal for
and
Manchester City.
Just 2 or 3 assists.
Yeah.
But if you count that 44 matches,
Bernardo Silva?
Now that is what I'm saying. If you count that 44 matches,
yeah.
You will see that it's part of last season.
From
last season, and that last season, Man City won the league. Kyle Walker is the fastest right back, as far as I'm concerned, in the world of football right now.
And he's back.
Look at what he did to Vinicius. It was just penalty, anybody's game, that Madrid ousted them last season from the Champions League. So the error there is that shield. There's no shield for Man City. Once you beat the center circle forward, you know that they can be exposed. If Man U was a very strong team, at the minute it was now Chelsea face Man City, Man City will collect. Why? Because they are exposed. They are exposed. Go and check the game again.
Let's move forward. Thank you, gentlemen. That was very, very interesting to take those opinions. But we have to move forward. Let us now look at the front, because it all looks like the major challenge City has is in the midfield. So, gentlemen, ladies, and fans all over the world, this is Premier Sports Fan Center. We're doing Talk Sport right now. You are on Talk Sport, and you can call in, you can send your text in, you can reach us on this show. You can join us in any way possible. Just check the screen and interact with us. So we're looking at the options available. So what are the potential targets for City? I'm just going to read this out, what we have in this particular journal, before, gentlemen, you guys react. Okay, we have City looking at various options, and a particular name has just popped in as one of the options that can join them in the midfield. And that is the AC Milan midfielder, Tijani Reinders. They're looking at that guy, and they think Reinders can join and add value and take the place of Rodri, fill the gap he left behind, apart from all other ones they've been examining. So what do you think about it? Let's take it from Paul first.
Yeah, there are a lot of players now, in the Manchester City are looking to, bring in. But I don't think we are going to see too many incoming this winter break now. I mean winter rather, because I believe Manchester Pep Guardiola will want to still continue with almost all the old players they have now, to make sure that at least to get to the ending of the season, then they will now sit down and look at their options. Because like you said, there's Tijani Reinders, there's what's his name now, Zubimendi, the other guy from Newcastle. But at the same time, I don't think those players are playing for, we want to lose them this January window now, because they want to make sure they keep them at all costs also. But if they decide to let any one of them go, I think those players they are going to cost Man City a lot, and I don't think Manchester City are in the position now to pay any outrageous money to bring in any of those guys now.
They're in position.
I don't think they
are
healthy.
Okay, so let's take it from Yemi, what do you think about adding Tijani Reinders to the list that Pep Guardiola is already cutting? And do you think somebody's coming in January, the winter window?
I think somebody is coming in, but I don't think it's Reinders, because Reinders is like, I think 5-10% close to extending his contract. Positive talks is happy at AC Milan, so I don't think you want to leave that. Zubimendi just extended his contract in this Sociedad.
Yeah, resources. Yeah.
So that I don't think that one do. So I think that leaves them to maybe go and shop in South America. Some clubs that they can actually pay them to get.
Or
their
they could go
people
to the championship.
championship. You know the level, playing level matters.
But they are good players. Yeah. It's just that
No,
they look
level.
yeah.
Because if you are getting in January now, you want to get somebody that will come in and
Start
as
acting. Somebody who's already used to the
yes,
particular
that
league.
can kick off and just start performing. So and it's not really realistic when you just come from championship. The level of football, the standard of football, there's a gap. So I still think that yeah, Man City will get it because they are big. They are very good in FFP now. They sold the Alvarez 90 something million to
To
Atletico
balance the
de
books.
Madrid to balance books, and they still made profit even from Cole Palmer
Yeah,
last
I
season.
understand they are the most valuable club in England right now.
So they are good with FFP. It's Man U that is a bit choked, a bit choked with FFP right now. So I think that Man City will come out of this stronger. Guardiola will find somebody to fill in that role, and I bet
we're
it will
looking
be-
at options for them here. So apart from Zubimendi, who you think is
Yeah.
already engaged,
Another option is Lavia.
let's look at options. Lavia, is it free?
It's not free. It's in Chelsea, so Chelsea want to use him
But he's not a regular. He's not a starter in Chelsea.
because of injury. He's a starter.
Now,
Against
who's
Tottenham,
he
he
going to
started.
bench? Is he going to bench
Against
Caicedo?
Arsenal, he started. No, he plays with Casado.
So they run two pivots together.
Yes, but sometimes Enzo will be on the bench. Like Tottenham game, Gusto was on the bench.
Right.
So Casado was playing inverted right back. So I think he is just struggling with it. Lavia. He has been.
Okay, so Paul, what do you think about other players or other departments? Are there other players that Guardiola might be looking at for the transfer window now and towards the end? Let's take a forecast to June. Who are the people or the players you think City might be looking at offloading, and then who are the likely replacements they might have? Let's take it from Paul first.
Yeah, like you said earlier on, looking at players they can bring in and bring this window. But I think they will get player also. I believe they'll bring in one or two player, but they might not be high profile like the way we know City to do. Bringing on high profile player, and the players they are going to bring, and I also believe they will be on loan at least for the next 6 months, so able to at the end of the season then make up their mind. But there are a lot of players they've been that have, been linked to Man City across all departments. The AC Milan man now, the Portuguese, the winger, what's his name again? Rafael Leo has been linked with Manchester City, and there was a rumor also going on that Manchester City is trying to look for another striker because they only have Erling Haaland as the only striker they have, only number 9. If Haaland is injured today, now there's nobody there again, so they have to play with 4-9. So there are a lot of players, talk about.
No. Let's just take it a little from you before you continue. There's a rumor in the city of Barcelona, in the Catalan city, that Barca is trying to let Araujo go to City because there's something going on there, and City is looking at sending Erling Haaland the other way by the summer of 2025. I want you to put that into your submission before we come to Yemi.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's a rumor, and I don't think Manchester City will be letting
That's why I say rumor.
letting Erling Haaland join Barcelona. Or like you said, it sounds like a swap now.
No, it's not a swap.
It's not a swap.
They're different transactions.
Yeah, but I don't think Manchester City will be letting Haaland leave so soon. But bringing on a player like Araujo, that might be possible. For Barcelona now, Arujo, I think this season, I don't think he has barely played any match. I think he's
He's
injured.
been injured. He's
been
just
injured,
coming back from injury.
Yeah. So, and for
He
Manchester,
started the season, and about 4 games into the season,
yeah, he hasn't really played much, and so we all know Arujo to be a very good defender.
I understand there's even a price tag.
Yeah, on
70
his
million
day.
already.
But Man City can afford it. 70 million. They can afford it, but I don't know if Barcelona will also will. Though Barcelona, due to some financial issue, letting players go to so that they will be. I think they will. But for Erling Haaland, I don't think Manchester City will be letting him go.
Okay. So let's take it from Yemite. By the end of this season, what do you think? Who are the players you think City should be downloading? They should be offloading, and then what are the likely suspects?
Uploading.
That can be uploaded.
So I think they will have Rodri back towards the end of the season. Now, when they tried to get a backup for Rodri, the player ended up staying on the bench for years.
Okay. For Rodri.
Yes. What is his name? Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
So his career actually really nosedived.
Yeah, remember he's still on loan also.
Okay, so it will come back.
But
I doubt. I doubt if he wants to still stay in Man City, because what Guardiola did to him, as far as I'm concerned, is not fair. Because there's no player that is so good that you play him too.
That's for Rodri, right?
Yeah, you can withdraw Rodri 70 minutes. Let
others,
not others, Phillips, let him feel the game. Withdraws Rodri 80 minutes. Let Calvin Phillips feel the game. Before you know it, he will grow into a player that is very important for them too. But
He should be around 29, 30
no,
now.
No. I think it's around 20, between 25 and 7.
Zubimendi?
Yeah, it's younger.
Oh, okay. So by then, because we're looking at the future now, let's even say, okay, 1 year, 2 years, the midfield keeps breaking down. Rodri gets injured again, because that ACL actually knows how to recover very easily. Keeps coming back at you. You can tell that from Ansu Fati, who had an injury like that about 2-3 seasons ago, and is still suffering from every now and again. Ter Stegen is also back, in the hospital treatment of ACL. And so, what is the future? What is the future? Is Guardiola going to remain there in 2 years or 3 years? Should things continue like this? Do you see him staying over the next season? And if the midfielders are still behaving the way they are behaving, do you think
performing?
The performance rather. Do you think it's right for Guardiola to stay in City after this summer?
This is not about right, though. It's about will you see the battle and run? You see the battle and run, or will you stay fight? And I think Guardiola is not a coward.
So, do you think he should stay?
I think he should.
Right.
You don't when you. I think this is the first time he's kind of challenge
In his career.
in his career. You either chicken out like a coward, not to feel like a champion.
Do you think the club management will want to condone another season of this? If it ends up that they finish, let's say, below the first 10. Paul, do you think the management will want to manage that, considering that in the last 10 seasons they haven't finished below 10?
Yeah, I think if the result continue to go against them and they continue to have bad results, I don't think Man City will see Guardiola beyond next season. I believe it will continue at the end of this. Next season. But if the result continue into the new season, I think they will fire him because.
Okay, so what you're saying is, should City face the kind of ordeal United, for example? Apologies to United fans. United has faced in the last 3-4 seasons. Guardiola will likely go.
Yeah, and if we go, they will have to call him aside and say it's time. We need to change now. I don't think they will come out to sack him publicly. They will only, we'll just hear one day that Pep Guardiola will just come out and say, "I've decided to leave on a mutual agreement now."
And don't you think players like Haaland might want to go if things are not working?
I don't think so. There's cash for them. they,
How
they,
about,
they scash.
I think football, let's get it right here. I think football at this level has a lot to do with, what's that word now? Has a lot to do with ego. It has a lot to do with your accolades and your achievements at the level of Haaland, 23, 24 years old, than the money they're paying. So if the club is not offering him something worthy, they're not winning, they're swimming down the line, they're not in the top notch, they're losing fan support, fan base is declining, and he looks at the coach being sacked. He will still say,
I think Eliana will definitely stay unless maybe there's a big offer which Manchester City cannot reject, and they've seen, or maybe they have other player or other striker in mind that could replace
how
him.
about Champions League? He won't be playing Champions
But
League.
he's won Champions League with them.
Yeah, but-
You understand? He has won the Champions League with them.
okay, let's
see,
take Yemi's opinion on this.
this
Should he get
is-
to that position?
There's no champion. But two, you can't just dismiss a coach like that. I think management that is very patient. They are not like Chelsea. I do believe it was Chelsea might be or maybe then. But when you look at this match, I think I mean, and Guardiola, I don't see him going down below. There are still some teams that they will cut. But Guardiola, I don't think Man City actually put him. Fans adore him. Management respect him. He has the free role he was given at Man City. I don't think he can have that kind of arrangement in any other club, any other big club available. I think Man City, with the way he has actually turned their money spending, few managers can do that. 6 out of 7. So Man City cannot act as if they have shot. I think they will wait. They will wait till like maybe end of the evaluate. Then if Guardiola now says, "Oh, it's time for him," like Klopp did, then he can leave. I think Guardiola will find this.
Okay, so yes, before we go to conclusion, let's look at the midfield again, because the midfield seems to be the strength of Manchester City. Okay, now we're looking at the midfield, which has been the major challenge. How can this be plugged? Rodri will get injured and then the City collapses because the midfield collapsed. What can City do to have a sustainable future, especially with the midfield? What should they be planning to do to have a replacement, possibly from the academy, possible reserves or something, who can fit in that role, get enough play time, and how recommend they should arrest this situation, because that is definitely their strength.
Yeah.
Let's take it from Paul.
Yeah, I don't think there's we are going to talk about Man City's bad run of play without mentioning the midfield. We will still be coming back to that midfield, and we've seen Guardiola trying to tweak that midfield, look for players to play there. We've seen him play Rico Lewis as a defensive midfielder. We've seen even the Englishman now, John Stone, also playing there. But I don't think they have too many players in the academy that can do the job. We saw how is in the Champions League. There was this academy guy they brought to partner the defense. We saw how he was easily muzzled. I think he played about 2 matches. But even against Tottenham in the Carling Cup, he was the one that also played there. But I don't think Manchester City have too many academy players that can fill the void now. So my recommendation to them would be for them to thank God now in the next 11 to 12 days the January transfer window will be open. The scout now needs to start, running around, looking for players.
No, but that's proactive. That's just being reactive. We're looking at proactive means for the future that can save them from this kind of situation. Let's hear Yemi.
I think it's simple. That's why in a team there's always players per role. The mistake Guardiola made for reliance on forgetting the guy on the bench. You will see that Chelsea score. You see that many of them are happy. Why? They broke it. Gave some confidence. Players happy. They have to get. Now, cannot have one player for, because that player can go out in. Now, where I blame Guardiola is, why will you give what it will expose Man City to? Because had they been now, okay, Rodri be against Arsenal, but against Bournemouth, they're leading as 70 something, gain the second. That should cover up for it. Let him have minutes. Then you will keep shop changing. There are some games you bench start. Now, why are you doing that? You are trying to keep two players happy when the injury.
Now, talking about keeping players happy, a lot of stones have been thrown at Guardiola just before on that topic about him letting Palmer go when he did. Would they have kept Palmer happy and kept him at Man City as well?
No, the thing is, he had to choose. Now, you can't play more than 11. There was Foden. The choice had to be between Foden and Palmer. He had to
But
choose.
couldn't they have? You just recommended a way to keep them all happy. Now.
No, the thing is, they already have Bernardo Silva.
Okay.
Now they have Foden. So Palmer will be third in the pecking order.
Okay.
The thing was, it's about two, the first and the second. Then the third. Mostly the third are mostly unhappy. Even sometimes the second, especially when the main guy is a very important player that the coach sees as indispensable.
Plays all the games.
He plays all the games.
Like Rodri.
So that Rodri is now injured. Now Man City is. So the thing is, you have to balance it. You have to create a balance. You have to look at Chelsea. Chelsea has been rotating that centre back. Now, do you know that Chelsea has won 5 straight and Fofana has been injured for the past 2 days? And Fofana was starting from. How is it that we don't notice? Because if Fofana is playing today, can play right back. Badiashile, Cowell will play. Sometimes Cowell is out. Tosin Adarabioyo will step in. Now somebody is out injured.
Or even Achupongo. What's that guy's name?
Yeah,
That young man.
Now that guy goes out injured. Another person steps in. Do the job. Now, if you notice, if Casedo is injured now, Lavia will come in and do the job. So Guardiola shot himself over reliance on. That is just it. Every other role on the field of play for Guardiola, there's shop change. Doku will start today, might not start tomorrow. We saw Haaland and Alvarez, no shop change.
Exactly.
But now you sold Alvarez, you didn't get a replacement. Now there's no replacement for Rodri, and you let Phillips go on loan. So he shot himself.
Allowed Alvarez to go without replacing.
Yeah. So he shot himself in the.
So yeah. So
just get
we're putting a lot
two
on
good
Guardiola
players
right now
for each role on. Positions on the one position, 2 players. Try to keep the 2 of them happy and try to keep them training at the highest level.
Oh, so yeah, the key is to try and keep all those players happy and make sure there is a spare tire for every role.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at let's go towards the end now. Paul, what are your recommendations? What are your should I put it this way? What are the consolation you have for City fans? What are the things you're going to tell them about the future? What do you see in City's future for good now?
Yeah, I think for City fans for a while now, maybe 2, 3, 4 seasons back now, they've been very happy. They hardly lose a match. They're always winning and they feel too comfortable. But I think the time has come now for them to start thinking about the future, like you said. Thinking we are no more dominant as we used to be, because there are other teams now. About Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester United trying to give City now their money. we've been talking about City not winning games. If we look back 2 3 seasons ago, they've also been having injuries. It has not been this bad.
Right.
But I think what we are seeing also is that other clubs now are now stepping up. City fans, it's a time for them to start be thinking about how they're going to be feeling now.
So you don't have any beacon of hope for them for the future.
There's always hope. There's hope.
Arsenal fans
the-
also.
I think
the-
you should
the-
finish before you take yours.
the issue is that for City fans, I know they will be calling on the manager and the board to get in new players first. Once they could get one
And
or two,
I'm
three
going to
players.
put it directly at you. Do you think the next 2-3 seasons, City can come back to midfield dominance, come back to football dominance in EPL, possibly at the Champions League?
Of course, they can. They
And
can.
that's what I need
It
you to tell the
now
fans.
depends on how they can. Depends on how the board arrest this situation now. If they decide to let us start rebuilding, it might take more than 2 3 years. But if they want to consolidate on the foundation they've laid already, I think Champions League.
All right, thank you. So, yeah, Mike, let's take it from you. What are you going to tell City fans? What is the news for them? We want good news. We want some hope. We want some beacon.
First, Man City, they made some errors, and recognize the error first.
We have been recognizing errors.
No.
So can we move
where
forward?
I'm going to lost some of the key directors. That the people that recognize targets. Those are the people that the job of Guardiola is just to say, I need a player that can do. They're the one that will go and get personal. Now, but they've made a statement. So after that, they spend money. They have to. They are good with it. Then I think another distraction is
Okay, the FFP.
the
Sure.
150 charges.
Right.
So I think is it, but the fans can have hope. In the world of football right now, have money.
So you think the fans should take consolation in the fact that
They will be
within a couple of years,
not
things
years,
should return to normal?
not years, less than a year.
Okay,
No.
so thank you very much. Fans of Manchester City, your club was in discussion today. We're looking at the challenges of a club, and we took Man City as a case study. And our gentlemen here have been so technical. They have been so strategic about their diversion and discussion on the topic. They have analyzed it. They have looked at the errors, the issues, dating back to 5-6 years ago, up to the level of their board issues, as well as player issues. The losses they made in terms of technical and the boardroom, as well as those they made on the field. And now we have been able to analyze also the mentality of Guardiola, where he made all the errors. You can see Yemat has already told us that why would you let the second striker go? Why won't you get a replacement for Rodri? Why would you let him play so many matches and then don't expect him to have injuries? All this have been pointed out in today's Talk Sport. Gentlemen and ladies, you can join us in this conversation. You can put your comment up there. You can even send a note. Join us. You can make a call at any point in time to add to what we have discussed today. Does City have hope in the future? That was the last question I put to them. And Paul told us, he said, yes, there is hope. Yemai told us, he said, yes, there is hope. They have the money to spend. They have the people who can spend the money. And they just need one or two people who will help them to identify where to spend the money. And because of that, Guardiola is just one of those that put the jigsaw puzzles together and then turns it into victory. And between the now and the end of next year, City fans should be smiling once again. Once again, I want to say thank you for joining us at Talk Sport tonight at Premier Sports Fan Center. My name is Yinka. And Yemi, any final words?
Yeah, Man City will be back. And just they should join us this weekend. It's going to be exciting.
And that's Aston Villa, right?
Not just Aston Villa, Palace Arsenal. There's
And
Everton.
I mean, Man
Chelsea.
City is playing Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still
That's an acid test for
even
them.
after like a sleeping.
Yeah, so, oh,
Yeah, like you said, we've been Manchester City, and for Manchester City fans, I think they should be patient. Things will turn around. Really, starting from have a game tomorrow, Aston Villa.
I don't think anything will.
All right, gentlemen and ladies, thank you very much for staying tuned. Thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you all the time. Spread the word. Tell somebody about TalkSport. Tell somebody about Premier Sports Fan Center. Until we see you again next week, have fun. Enjoy the weekend.
Remember to hit that subscription button.